Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because today's story is one you'll never forget. In this video, we're uncovering one of the most emotional and unexpected moments in Korean entertainment. IU, the nation's beloved singer and actress, broke down in uncontrollable tears on live television after mentioning Jong Suk. Her voice trembled as she asked the heartbreaking question, "Why did you do that to me?" What was behind those words? What happened between IU and Jong Suk that pushed her to finally speak out after years of silence? Stay with us as we reveal everything, from their hidden romance to the painful silence that followed, and why IU's emotional confession has touched millions around the world. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the real stories behind the headlines. Let's get started. It was meant to be just another appearance on television, a promotional stop on IU's media tour to introduce her newest song. The studio was filled with soft lights, cheerful energy, and a familiar buzz that accompanies any episode of Evening with the Stars, a show known more for light-hearted laughter than life-shaking revelations. Dressed elegantly in a pale peach blouse, IU looked as radiant as ever, her calm presence comforting to the millions of fans who have followed her for more than a decade. The audience had come expecting songs, stories, and maybe a few giggles. But no one, not the production team, not the audience, not even IU herself, could have anticipated the emotional storm that was about to unfold. A storm triggered by just one name, Jong Suk. The question that changed everything came halfway through the show. A host smiled playfully and asked, "Was there a person who inspired this new ballad? Maybe someone from your past?" At first, IU chuckled lightly, but something shifted in her expression. Her smile faded just slightly, and her fingers fidgeted on her lap. Then came a pause. A long, heavy silence filled the room. She looked down, swallowed hard, and with a voice so soft the microphones barely caught it, she said, Jong Suk." That name hung in the air like a forgotten melody, familiar, haunting, and suddenly filled with heartbreak. A gasp rippled through the audience. IU, the composed, thoughtful artist who had always guarded her private life so carefully, had just dropped a name fans had long speculated about. The host sat still, unsure whether to follow up, to laugh it off, or to change the subject. But before they could speak, IU's voice cracked again as she looked up at the audience, eyes already glistening, and then with raw pain surfacing in every word, she asked, "Why did you do that to me?" She tried to hold back the tears, but it was too late. They streamed down her face as she attempted to continue. "I told myself I wouldn't cry on this show," she whispered. "But I guess some wounds don't stay buried forever." The studio, normally buzzing with energy, fell silent. Cameras zoomed in ever so gently. Viewers at home watched breathlessly. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This was heartbreak, real, unfiltered, an unraveling live in front of millions. IU took a breath, clutching a tissue in one hand and steadying her voice with the other. "We weren't just close," she began. "We loved each other. At least, I loved him. We shared quiet nights, unspoken promises, and a kind of bond that didn't need to be shown to the world to feel real. He saw sides of me that no one else did. I wrote songs while lying next to him. He held my hand through some of the darkest moments in my life. And I believed him when he said he would stay, when he said I was the only one." Her voice trembled, but one day he changed. Messages became rare. Phone calls were short. His tone grew cold. "I kept telling myself he was just tired, just busy." I gave him space. I waited. I waited for days, then weeks. But instead of a message from him, I saw the truth in headlines, pictures of him with someone else. IU lowered her gaze, her hand pressing gently against her chest. "Do you know what it feels like to be replaced before you even know you've been left?" she asked, her voice hollow. "It feels like drowning in silence, like standing still in a world that keeps moving without you." Her words cut deeper than any tabloid could, for they came not from gossip, but from the core of a woman still grieving the loss of a love she never got to bury properly. The studio lights dimmed slightly, as if in reverence to her truth. IU reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "I never showed this to anyone," she said, "but it's the last letter I wrote to him. I never sent it. I couldn't. But maybe tonight. It's time. She unfolded the paper with care, her fingers trembling as she began to read. You told me you'd never disappear. That even if the world turned against us, you'd be by my side. I believed you. I defended you. I even wrote songs about a future we never got to live. But you left without a word. You let me hear the news from strangers. You let me wonder if I was never enough. Or too much. I thought love meant staying. But maybe I was the only one who meant those words. Tears flowed freely now, not just from IU but from many in the studio. Some audience members wiped their eyes. Even the host sat quietly, unable to offer anything but respectful silence. I'm not sharing this to blame him, IU said softly. I'm sharing this because I know I'm not the only one who's ever been left behind with no explanation. Maybe someone out there needed to hear this. Maybe they needed to know they weren't alone. Social media erupted within minutes. Hashtags like #IUHeartbreak, #Why did you do that to me? And #Jong Suk trended worldwide. Fans across the globe flooded IU's fan pages with support, admiration, and tears of their own. Some were angry, others were heartbroken, but all agreed. What IU had done was courageous. She had taken a story buried in silence and given it a voice. In the following days, media outlets scrambled to piece together the timeline. Anonymous sources close to both stars confirmed what fans had long suspected. IU and Jong Suk had been more than friends. They had shared a quiet, deeply personal relationship that spanned over a year, maybe more. He had been a steady presence during her tours, visiting her in the studio. She had been his safe place between film shoots. But sometime late last year, the bond unraveled. According to insiders, Jong Suk began pulling away without warning. Texts went unanswered. Calls were missed. IU, still holding on to hope, kept waiting. She had even written 2 unreleased songs about him. But when the photos of him with another actress surfaced, everything changed. IU never spoke to him again. Jong Suk's agency released a brief statement following the broadcast, calling for privacy and respect, and acknowledging IU as an artist whom Lee holds in the highest regard. But the damage was already done. In the court of public opinion, his silence was louder than any words could ever be. And yet, IU wasn't looking for revenge. She wasn't asking for sympathy. She was simply reclaiming her narrative. For so long, people had speculated, whispered, and wondered. But now the truth was out, raw, painful, and beautifully human. The closing shot of the broadcast showed IU standing tall, wiping away her tears and smiling through the ache. I'll keep writing songs, she said. I'll keep loving. Not because of him, but in spite of what happened. Because I still believe in love. Just not the kind that vanishes without a goodbye. In that moment, she wasn't just Korea's sweetheart. She was its voice, its strength, its reminder that even in heartbreak, we can find healing. And in pain, we can still sing.